Hello Virgo, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We're looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose for the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As I do in all of my readings, I've pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages, as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second. But I still have a different tarot deck I'll be pulling from for each side of this connection, as well as the advice deck I'll be using to close out the reading with in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Take what, take what does help and leave the rest. All right, Virgo, let's jump on in. On your side of this connection, you have dream come true with the Knight of Swords in reverse. I feel like this person at one point in this connection seemed like a dream come true. And with this Knight of Swords in reverse, it's kind of this energy maybe of rushing into things or, throwing yourself all in. Nothing wrong with that. I think that sometimes when you got to follow the feelings sometimes, right? But I do feel as if there's more to it than like just that. Because I don't feel like this connection is where you want it to be necessarily. Like you had this dream come true, but I feel like it hasn't reached that point. Now this person has trapped with the Eight of Swords, which is another card for feeling trapped. So I feel like this is probably the reason that it feels like you're not at the point that you want to be with this person. And maybe that's like a higher level of commitment or a certain level of vulnerability, or I'm not quite sure. But I do feel as if this person is kind of trapped in something that seems very karmic. This Eight of Swords can represent a lot more than being trapped in like a situation. The Eight of Swords to me is like trapped in a prison of their own making in a way. I'm not saying that's exactly what's happening, but I do feel like this person is stuck in some way, in something that is blocking them from being able to give this connection everything that it needs to work. Now, in between the connection, this is what makes me feel like the connection isn't where you want it to be. You have optimism, but then you have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So it feels like you have this hope that things are going to work out, this hope that things are going to improve, this hope that things are going to get better, that you're eventually, going to get to where you want to be in this connection. But it feels like things continue to not work out with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Like maybe there's something that's always in the way or something comes up. There's just always something that keeps getting in the way of this connection progressing to the point that you want it to. Now, the overall theme of the reading is let go of control issues, and it says allow this situation to unfold naturally. Sometimes we really want, to make something work, and sometimes the more that we force it, the more that we actually keep it from working. Or sometimes we're avoiding like redirection in some way. So I'm not saying like don't try to make this connection work. I feel like there's more to the story that needs to be known moving forward. So let's start, Virgo, with your side of this connection. You have dream come true with the Knight of Swords in reverse. Because the Knight of Swords in reverse can kind of be this energy of like slowing down and making sure that you're looking at it from like all different angles and not, because you never want to lose yourself in trying to make something work, right? Like you want to make sure that your needs and desires and boundaries are still being respected and protected, things of that nature. But let's see. Virgo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with and needing to learn the most from. Ooh, okay. Strength. The Knight of Wands. Okay. That makes sense. The Seven of Cups. Oh, and then the Justice and the Five of Cups. So it feels like you had a lot of confidence in this connection. Like, it's almost as if you saw, it's like you saw what this could be, which with the Knight of Wands, I feel like is why you kind of put your heart and soul into it. Like why you really took, it feels like you took a risk on it, or like really, opened yourself up to the possibility of it. And I feel like you took that risk because, again, you kind of saw where this could go, but then it feels like there's still this energy with the Seven of Cups of like confusion and overwhelm, and especially because you've put so much into this, I feel like there's this energy of like, why aren't things working? I've put my heart and soul into this connection. Why is it not evolving? Or why is this person, not choosing me, or whatever the case might be? I don't exactly know what it is, but I do feel like it's starting to affect maybe the way, I don't want to say that yet. I was going to say, I feel like it might be starting to affect the way you feel about yourself, like making you feel like maybe you're not good enough. Because, when we put everything we have into something and it doesn't work, it's going to start to make us feel like there's something wrong with us. So that could absolutely be, what's happening here. But I don't know. I feel like there's something I'm missing. There's more to what's going on here. Okay, Virgo side of this connection. You've been very patient with this connection. Very patient, very understanding. Like despite the fact, because there's the Chariot in reverse. So despite the fact that it feels like things aren't progressing, I feel like you've had this overwhelming sense of patience and willingness to like put in the effort to make this work, despite the fact that I don't know if that energy and effort is necessarily being reciprocated. Yeah, because there's the Sun in reverse. So you're not happy with where things are at. You're not happy with where things are at. Which makes me feel, it's like you consistently hold on to this hope of what it could be, but it's not where you want it to be. A tremendous amount of patience, actually, Virgo. Like, I feel like, well, yeah, there's maybe this energy of like, it'll be worth it in the end. Yeah, there's you have these expectations. You see this potential and you're waiting on that potential, and I get that, but it just feels like there's this dissatisfaction or lack of fulfillment with where things are, but holding on to like where you want them to be. Let's get more for Virgo side of this connection. The Hierophant with the High Priestess in reverse, and then there's the Eight of Cups. Spirit is asking you to look at things from a different perspective here. Because this High Priestess in reverse is this energy of maybe not being able to hear, or maybe even ignoring your intuition. Because I feel like your intuition, your higher self, is trying to tell you something's off. But I feel like you're holding on to wanting to make this work. Then maybe it's been kind of hard to hear that. Because you deserve to be happy, right, in your connections. You deserve to be loved the way that you want to be loved. You deserve to be committed to in the way you want to be committed to. And it feels like, I think that we hear all the time, like, love is worth waiting for, right? Like, the right person is worth waiting for. But sometimes we misunderstand what that means. Because it's not waiting for someone to choose you, or waiting for someone to value you, or waiting for someone to decide you're worthy. It's setting boundaries when people don't do those things, because the right person will do those things. So I feel as if there's something off about what's happening here. And maybe I'll get more clarity when we look at this person's side here. So hang on. This is the person that Virgo is dealing with, side of the connection to Virgo. This person's energy toward Virgo. Page of Cups in reverse. So, I just heard this person isn't available right now. Emotionally. Maybe even, it's like they're not available to be what you want this to be. They're trapped in something. But there's more to the story than what they're telling you. Because now, okay. You know, when we talk about being trapped, especially when I see the Eight of Swords, that can often mean like we're trapped in our own insecurity, or we're trapped in our own trauma, or we're trapped in an experience of pushing away love. You know, it's not just like, oh, they're trapped in a marriage, or, you know, that's not necessarily what I'm saying. But I feel like there's something that's making them emotionally unavailable to you. It's making them unable to show up in this connection, commit to it, give you what it is that you deserve. Not just want, but deserve. And I feel like there's a lot of excuses. Because the Judgment in reverse is like kind of ignoring the reality of the situation. It feels like it's like there's a lot of excuses. Well, I can't commit because of this, or I can't, you know, show up because of that, or I'm really busy, or I've got a lot going on, or this person is, it just feels like there's always, it's like there's always something that keeps this person like from this connection. And I feel like that is something that you've been very patient with, because maybe they've had really good excuses, and maybe they are going through something. You know, everyone, you know, deserves grace when they're going through something, but this feels like a pattern. This feels like something that is consistently repeated in this connection. Because with this Knight of Wands, especially seeing the Knight of Swords in reverse, like I feel like you're giving this like all you got. I feel like you are pouring your heart and soul into this connection, into someone who is taking what you have to give. But there's almost this refusal to reciprocate it. Now, again, it's like they have these reasons and they've got a lot going on. They're really busy. They're trapped in something. I don't know. But it's almost as if it's like, you know, in a lot of these readings that I do, I kind of see the role of the giver and the role of the taker. And this feels very much like what this is. It's like you're giving so much to this connection because of what you see it could be, right? This person could just figure out whatever they're going through, break themselves out of this. Like it could be so good. But in the meantime, Virgo, and this is why I feel like you have this need to kind of slow down or maybe pull back a little bit. Your needs are consistently going unmet. Now, it's not always about your needs, right? Like sometimes because relationships should be 50-50, averaged out over the period of the relationship. So sure, there's going to be times when you give more and this person takes more, and then, you know, times where you need to take a little bit more and this person gives a little bit more. Like there's always a balance. But it feels like there's not a balance in this connection. It feels like it's, you know, if you're the one giving and showing up and being there for them. And it's like this person has all of these excuses as to why they can't do that for you. And I feel like you've been so understanding and so patient. You're probably very empathetic, right? You have a lot of empathy for this person and where they're at and what they're going through. And there's nothing wrong with empathy. Until it starts becoming toxic empathy, until we start to empathize more with what others are going through, and we abandon our own empathy for ourselves, where we basically say, I'm willing to go through hell to make sure that you are happy, healthy, comfortable, and safe. I'm willing to abandon my needs and abandon myself to make you feel good, to make you happier, to make you whatever the case is. That's where there starts to become an issue, because whenever that dynamic starts to arise, it's a very, very difficult dynamic to break out of, because both people kind of assume this role. You assume the role of the giver and they assume the role of the taker. Now that the hard part is a giver has a limit. There's only so much you can give, right? Taker doesn't. Taker can take. They can take as much as they want all day long. And they will. Especially if they're in this position where it's like, well, I don't really have to figure out my own stuff, and I can still receive what I want from you. Like, what's the motivation, right? So I feel like it's almost like this, just making sure that it's just like be cautious. That's what it feels like Spirit saying. Be cautious. Understand that your energy is currency, right? And where you give it is going to determine where you receive it. And if you give it out to someone who consistently doesn't give anything back or gives very little back, your cup is going to slowly drain. Four of Swords in reverse. Your cup's going to slowly drain until you have nothing left to give. Until now, if you're in this role with the giver and the taker is going to be like, wait, whoa, where's that energy supply that I'm so used to? And then they're going to say, well, I can't really take anything more from this, so I gotta go find something else to take. So it's just, I feel like there's this message of caution that Spirit has for you here. Because seeing the potential in someone and in something can be really dangerous if we're not careful, especially if, I don't know. I don't love this energy. Right? This person's energy toward Virgo. I'm not saying this connection is doomed, but I do feel like you're stuck in a cycle here. This is the second time I've seen this air sign energy. Virgo, Libra, Virgo, you're Virgo. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Ace of Wands. Two of Cups in reverse. So this Two of Cups in reverse is this energy of being very disconnected from oneself. Disconnected. So this is someone pretty deep in survival mode, pretty deep in doing whatever it takes to get by, doing whatever it takes is necessary to survive. And sometimes that means using people to do it. Now, I'm not saying they're using you, okay? That's not what I'm saying. But I feel like that's why Spirit has this message of caution for you, is just make sure that this person's intentions are good. Just make sure that, because their actions aren't very aligned with love. It's very aligned with survival, with necessity. And, I've really learned that there is a big difference between someone intentionally hurting us and someone protecting themselves because of their own stuff and that hurting us. Now, the reason why that's so important is it doesn't take away from the way that someone treats you, but it does change the, how do I say this? It does change the, perspective of it. Because instead of saying, oh, this person hurt me, therefore, it must have something to do with me, we say, this person is struggling. They've got their own trauma, their own insecurities, their own limiting beliefs when it comes to love. And that causes them to act in a certain way that has nothing to do with me. So it's not okay. That behavior isn't okay. But it's also, I have empathy for that. And that's where you kind of are able to kind of separate unconditional love from unconditional tolerance. Because loving someone unconditionally and having, that unconditional empathy is absolutely important. But that does not mean unconditional tolerance. So I just feel like Spirit is saying, approach with caution and make sure that you're, especially with the Hierophant, both eyes wide open. Going into this knowing that, yes, you're here to give love, you're here to serve, you're here to be, whatever you need to be for someone else. But that you are also making sure that you're not losing yourself in the process. That your needs and your boundaries, like I started out the reading saying, are being protected. Because if not, it's easy to fall into a dynamic, like I said, where you're the giver and this person becomes the taker. And then, when a taker falls into the role of taking with a giver who gives unconditionally, they're never going to stop taking, because why would they ever? They're especially not going to reciprocate, because why would they give if they could just take? I don't know. I feel like it's, okay. This person's energy toward Virgo. 4 of Wands in reverse. There's a lot going on in this person's world. The 4 of Wands in reverse is kind of this energy of instability. I feel like this person is a little bit, oh, okay. Yeah. I do. I feel like this person is struggling in some way. And I feel like you have a tremendous amount of empathy for them. And that is a wonderful quality. I think this world would be a significantly better place if more people had empathy. However, I feel like, because with this Knight of Pentacles in the world, I feel like you're slowly approaching and maybe have already entered a cycle where you become the saver. And this person is like the person that needs saving, or like they're, there's, always, this person's always the victim. There's always problems going on. There's always, and I feel like there's a need to just be very cautious in your approach to this and make sure you go into it with boundaries. I know I've said that a lot, but I feel like it's really important. Because I don't feel like this person is in like a healthy space right now, mentally and emotionally. And that's, yes, have empathy for that, but protect yourself in the process. And this let go of control issues is making sure that you understand that, you don't have to prove your worth to anybody. And sometimes we get a little bit comfortable stepping into the savior role where, we believe that our value is about how much we help other people, how much we save other people, how much we, provide stability for those who are struggling. And yes, it is so important to make sure that we are giving back to this world. Okay. Like I cannot stress that enough. I think that, the love that we have for other people is so necessary and so important. But that does not mean abandoning the love for yourself. There's a balance there that needs to be addressed, because I feel like there's an imbalance right now in how much you're giving, how much they're taking. And I feel like it's slowly entering you into like this cycle of like, and I think it's hard too, because you see this as a dream come true, right? So you're like, well, maybe if I pour everything into this thing, it'll change things, and then things will eventually be what I know that they could be. Just be careful with that. I don't know. It's just be careful. That's what I feel. In between this connection, you have optimism with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. We're going to dive deeper into this connection, looking at the truth of the connection, the deeper purpose, and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self. Thank you so much, Virgo, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Virgo, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Virgo.